All right, so I'm going to go ahead and go through these attached family um, comps. So I've already did some of the work up front, so we can speed through this a little quicker. But I already set up two searches that are just basically the same as these two searches, but um, it's the same thing, that we've been doing for up until the point of comping them. So everything's already set up. You can go through and look at thumbnails the best and go through and start selecting properties that are dated or trashed. Um, properties that are already fixed up. Obviously, we're not going to mess with those. And then just select out those that are, that one doesn't work. The ones that need work. So I bet this one does. So anyways, I've already selected some, so I'm going to go ahead and jump into that. So here's the properties that I've selected so far. Went ahead and put them in the spreadsheet. Still going to have to figure out if our number right here is going to work, but the 25,000 should be pretty good. So I imagine I'll probably adjust this down to get a more reasonable asking price or purchase price. But I'm going to go ahead and start on this marina. I already did that. I actually know this area a little bit because I used to rent property in there. So it's the same thing. You just go to the search, but instead of detached, we're doing attached single family. Um, well, let's go ahead and find the property. So 1414092 active. Oops, one. So there we go. There's the property. We've already kind of gone through it. It's not in bad shape. It's just old and dated. So we'll see if there's anything there. So just go to the map, and you can see the complex that it's in is this Heather's Gardens area. So I would just draw a box around that. And we'll get to this later about mapping this, because if it's a condo, usually we want to stay within the condo development that the property's in. But if it's a townhouse, let's say, down here in Washington Park or something like that, and there's only like two townhouses next to each other, then you're gonna have to go out to the whole neighborhood and just look for attached townhouses. But we'll get to that later. But if it's a condo unit, which and you can separate those out if you want to, but you can clearly see when you just pull up the picture that it's a condo just by the pictures. I mean, it has all this stuff, so it's a condo unit. So anyways, let's go ahead and comp this property out. So where am I at? So I'm here. I want to do, kind of stumbling through this, same process. Make sure it's attached single family. You can go ahead and select condo if that makes it easier, if there's townhouses in the area. And then square footage, same, it populates in the sheet, same, so it's 1560. So I'm going to do 1200 to 1700. Get rid of this. And 85 matches, so I'm going to go 13 to 16. Actually, I'll keep that 17. And we got 39, so that's a little better. And kind of the same process, really, no different. Kind of a bad sign. Looks like we're at the very top of the active listings. So my first take is that it's probably not going to work. But we can go down to, I mean, this is in same complex, but we can probably pretty much guess at this point that our ARV is going to be 360. I mean, that's pretty fixed up. So I've already put 360 in there, makes it 245. They're asking 330. I would say no. I mean, we can offer on it if we want, but that's probably not one that's going to work. What's more interesting are these ones that are down here at closer to what we're already at 245. So maybe we take a look at those and see what's going on. So yeah, pretty dated. This one probably makes more sense. And you have to really pay attention to the bedrooms and bathrooms on these. So let's go back because it's really harder. It's a lot harder to convert these. It looks like they're all 2-bedroom, 2-bath, but this one may work. So maybe we make an offer on this one rather than this one. And then there's this one here. It's kind of dated. Maybe we'll make an offer on that one. So you kind of see it's kind of the same thing. It's not behaving very well here. There we go. So let me take a further look at this and I'll get back. All right, so it's going to take us a little bit to get our arms around attached single family. So for example, on these two, so I got rid of this one because it's the highest price one. But we have these two down here that are similar. This is same square footage and 2-bedroom, 2-bath. This one's 2-bedroom, 2-bath, and a little bit smaller. And so, you know, we're not going to offer them, you know, our spreadsheet offer at 245 because, well, I mean, these have been sitting on the market for a while. So this has been on the market since October, and this one's been sitting on the market since September. So obviously, I mean, the prices have been out there, so and nobody's chomping at it. So we need to, obviously, our numbers are not where the investors want to buy. So we need to pay a lot of attention to how long these have been on the market and those sort of things. And the second thing, this is something that you ought to do with detached single family too, is when I look at a neighborhood like this one, I see how this price and this price compares to the bottom prices of similar square footage. So these bottom prices are going to be the investor realm of pricing, right? Not up here. This is the retail market. We're down here in the wholesale market. So we want to look at how these things have been selling. So this 1,500 square foot, we can just start scrolling up, and the lowest one is 249. So that kind of fits right in there at our 245. But again, this has been on the market for a while. So you know what? Don't be afraid to just ask 20,000 less than list price, and that's what I'm going to do on these two. I'm going to probably come in at 232, 222, somewhere around there, because we're just gonna throw offers out there, and if they take something like that, I think we'll be in pretty good shape. And again, this is going to be kind of a learning curve for me too, because I haven't done hardly any attached family, but we need to start working on it. So, but I think we'd be in pretty good shape if we got it at that price, because it would be the very lowest at that square footage. So this 1380, you can see the lowest one is 205. So we probably want to offer somewhere around there because that's the investor realm. So if you're struggling to figure out where you need to be, start comparing, you know, this property to these low solds at the bottom. It's another way to get an idea of value in a neighborhood or a complex, is to do that, because that's, if you're struggling to find a value, that's another way of doing it. And I haven't really shown you that yet, and I do it a lot. If I'm kind of trying to figure out what something's worth, I'll look at that. So I guess it's another lesson in there that I'm kind of showing you here. So yeah, it's kind of similar to this 205, right? So so that's what I would do. I'd probably offer around 205 on this one and 222 on this one, and move on. So we can look at this one too. It's 1,400 square foot to 2.2. Maybe make an offer on this one as well. if you're doing the work, you might as well, right? So we already know at this range, we probably need to be somewhere around that 220 something. And we don't want to go too far up. We don't want to blast too many of these offers. So let's just stick with that. So I'm just going to export those three and add those to the sheet. And just so you can see, there's no difference in what I'm doing, just copy and pasting the export into here. And until we get our arms around values of the attached family, we're going to be super conservative in our offers until we really get it dialed in. And the other part of it is I've got to really figure out the market on these. So it's going to be a little bit of a learning curve. But what do we say on these two? So let's get rid of this. Back to results. So this 1,500 square foot, I'm just going to offer 225, 125. This 13, we're going to do 205, 125, and then this 1,400, let's say, you know, just come out the same. So make sure the listing agents are different because you don't want to send to the same listing agent two different offers. But we're getting rid of this one and move on to the next. All right, so the next one here is this 2901 West Davies. I went ahead and pulled it up, did the same thing, typed in the address, found it on the map, drew a square around it. In the criteria, same thing, attached, but the only difference is attached single family. And this is a townhouse. You can see that clearly when you pull up the picture. This is a townhouse, not a condo. Condos are stacked on top of one another. Townhouses are side by side. So clearly it needs some work. So let's go ahead and see how many matches we get. So we get 11 matches in that square footage range. So let's take a peek, see what we get. All right, so we are here. And 215, the low is 279. It's gonna be tough, right, for this one to get, because our highest sold in the area is, and that's different. We got an above square footage of 810, and 313 might be it. Looks like it, huh? So got the butcher's block, new cabinet, stainless steel. Yeah, so 313 would probably be it. And that puts us at 209. They want, it's more than 100,000 off. Again, I'm gonna probably have to adjust these numbers somewhat, but just looking at the low sold in the area, we're going to guess 25,000 in work or more. So what do we offer? Well, we can't offer 279 because that doesn't work. At 313, might be time to break out the spreadsheet and take a closer look at it. So I just broke out the analysis spreadsheet, and we're going to do a lot of this as we kind of fumble through these attached families. But we got to make sure that makes sense on the spreadsheet, right? The analysis spreadsheet. So I just put it. We know the ARV is this, 305 to 315, and you can really tighten those down a little bit because those there's not quite as much spread on those. We could really do like 310, 312.5, and 315. We know the top end is 315. So I just started playing with the purchase price to get this in a range that is acceptable. We're not going to get the 20% range on these little condo units, or townhouse units, but we might get something like this because on these deals, this one with that kind of square footage, maybe, I don't know. I would say 220 would probably be it. Might not be worth offering at when they're asking 315, right? They're asking 315. The ARV is, I should have just caught that right away. Their asking price is 315. The ARV is 313. This is not going to work. Delete. So move on.